Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to do an overview of the top 10 sales according to cardladder.com for all UFC singles from November 10th to November 16th. So let's get right into it. Coming in number 10 is the 2022 Panini Instant UFC Kaboom of Islam PSA 10. Gorgeous card, such a fan of the Kabooms. This was listed at $3,500 or best offer on PSA through eBay. And the actual sales price, according to Card Ladder, was $2,000. It's on the right side of the screen here. Gorgeous Kaboom, iconic fighter. Great way to start out at number 10. Number 9, we have 2011 Topps Finest Autofractor 1 of 8 for George St. Pierre, a Beckett 9.5 with a 10 auto. Again, probably the worst photo I've ever seen for a card ever listed for sale, or at least one of the worst. I mean, see this dude's dirty thumb in the photo. I don't know what's going on there. Horrible photo. I mean, you keep the plastic top loader on the card. You have these scratches here. I don't know what people are doing with themselves. This card sold out of the UK. Ended up bringing $3,292. Actually, I take that back. That was the best offer price. It ended up selling for $2,171. Which in my opinion is a pretty good price for this card, a pretty good steal. Vintage UFC stuff I think can only go up. He's one of the most iconic fighters in history, arguably the greatest of all time. For an auto out of 8, I don't know. I think it's a good place to put your money. That's number 9. Going to number 7, we have 2024 Topps Knockout UFC Triple Auto of Khabib, Umar, and Islam. Like, what an amazing lineup of fighters. Not a huge fan of the design of the card itself. I think the triple autos, they can be a little more clever, but can't argue the name's power on the card. It was listed for $10,000 or best offer. According to Card Ladder, on the right side of the screen, it ended up selling for $2,200. Card is not in perfect condition. You can see a ding in the lower right-hand corner on the back. But if you're buying this card, you're probably not worried about condition. You're just worried about the rarity of it and how cool it is. On to number 6. We have the 2009 Topps UFC Round 1, the very first product ever put out by UFC. Iconic card. Again, second showing for St. Pierre in the top 10 for this week. Price was $2,228. That is what was paid according to eBay through ComC. Again, the card is certainly not in perfect condition with these black edges. The white just shows through. But, I mean, you cannot get better than this fight. The autograph is a sticker, so what? It doesn't matter. With the rarity and iconic nature of this type of card and what this represents in the history of UFC collecting, is the first product ever. I just think it's amazing card. So cool to see this. And that people are paying money and ponying up for the history of UFC is just wonderful. I just love it. On to number 5, 2024 Topps Chrome UFC Super Giant Khabib Superfractor 1 of 1. Not an autograph, but a very cool card with the in-fight image in the foreground and the background, kind of the darker, more dramatic image. Like, I think just a cool setup for a card with the dark and contrasting the Superfractor type of design in the front, a 1-on-1. Back is super cool, super giant. See some scratch imperfection up here. See a dent on the back here. That didn't hurt the bidding. Card sold for $2,324. Big number, but big number for a big fighter. On to number 4 on the list. 2012 UFC Bloodlines Khabib rookie. Out of 188, the flag insert. PSA 9, pop 2, none higher. This card is nearly impossible to find, especially in a PSA 9. Totally insane card. I've never seen this card in a PSA 9 before. If I would have known this card was up and paying attention, I probably would have made a run at this. It ended up selling for $3,564. That's what it sold for. Totally sick card. On to the next one. Which one is this? This would be, I think, number 4, if I remember. I think we're on number 4. 2022 Prism UFC Charles Oliveira flashback, if I can speak. Black Prism 1 of 1. Such a great pose of him holding the belt. Emotional photo. Such a huge fan of the Black Prism cards. See, for Charles Oliveira knocking out Michael Chandler at UFC 262 to win the vacant UFC lightweight title was the culmination of the longest journey of UFC fighter has ever taken to get to the title. So that's why they call it a flashback, but such a cool image. Ended up selling for $3,228. PSA 10, 1 of 1. Again, strong showing this week for UFC cards. On to the next one. 2025 Topps UFC Finest. 1 of 1 Superfractor Golden Moments for Ilya Topuria. These Golden Moments in hand are such cool cards. And even the base cards look amazing, but this 1 of 1 just jumps off the screen. Belt showing, iconic moment. And this card ended up selling for $3,450. It was on sale for $6,750 or best offer, went for about half that. Really nice looking card. Next, pulling in at number 2, this card sold on the Alt Auction Network. 2025 Topps Chrome Sapphire UFC Veteran Autograph Pad Paradasha. I think that's how you say it. Probably not. I probably mispronounced it. But 1 of 1 for Conor McGregor. I love the color of this card. Very cool out of sapphire. It is a 1 of 1. You can see it right there. It took me a second to pick it up. Amazing card. 1 of 1 Conor. Pulls a strong number. Then we go to the number 1 spot, which has a little bit of a backstory. So, this 1 of 1 Dana White, Sean O'Malley, 2025 Topps Finest UFC Thoughts from the Boss card. So, dual signed, redemption, was listed at $50,000 or best offer. It was shown on eBay that it sold for the full $50,000 amount. Through Card Ladder on the right side here, you can see sold. I follow some of the UFC Facebook groups, and the person, and again, this is allegedly, I don't know this person, I'm just going by the data that was put on Facebook and what was out there. The person that sold this card posted on Facebook that the buyer of this card did click buy it now, and if you're familiar with eBay and buy it now, usually you need a credit card on file or some form of payment so the payment can go through immediately. But I guess due to the dollar value of this card, that was not in place for this. So what that means is that the buyer did click buy it now on this listing, but they haven't paid for it yet. And it's been, let's see, when did this sell? This sold November 15th, so there's a Saturday. This is 3 days later. The seller doesn't believe that the buyer will end up paying. I guess there's been no contact between the buyer and the seller. But what a crappy thing to do as a buyer. Like, I don't know if the buyer's trolling or they bought it and maybe a friend of theirs or another part of the community told them they overpaid. But whatever it is, like if you're going to bid on cards, do your research first. Like, don't screw this seller over. Obviously, the seller has a good rating. He seemed to be a nice person on Facebook. Like, he wasn't mean about it, but I think he was just disappointed. I mean, I would be too if I got an amazing offer like this. But you know, the reality of life is that you shouldn't count your money before you receive it anyway. Anything can happen. But the number one spot is really not the number one spot. Sold for $50,000, wasn't paid, wouldn't count. Hopefully the data gets wiped off Card Ladder and eBay. And maybe this person could either redeem the card and sell it or can sell the redemption, but hopefully get a decent amount of money for it. It is a high value card. It's a 1 of 1. Sean O'Malley, Dana White. Is it worth $50,000? Who knows? I think you do a lot better with $50,000. But anyway, that is the recap for the November 10th to November 16th top UFC single sales according to cardladder.com. Again, this does not pick up any individual sales or Facebook deals, Instagram deals. Trying to track that stuff down is nearly impossible and even harder to verify, but this is the data we have and this is what we roll with. So if you learned a little something from this video, please leave a like or a comment. It'd be amazing if you can also subscribe to the channel to get daily updates on the UFC card market. I'd really appreciate spending the valuable time that we have, that you spend a little bit of that time with me this evening. With all that said, thank you so much. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, take care of yourself, take care of your family. And with all that said, be good.